Hello everyone, I'm Alicia. Welcome to my Beautiful Nights channel. For this tutorial, I'm going to show you guys how to make a gorgeous floral bracelet. And I will put a picture up now since I do not have the project completed at this time. Now, if you love floral jewelry, you're in luck because I've made so many different floral bracelets, necklaces. I think I've done earrings. Rings, I've done a ton of rings, pendants in the past, and I will put pictures up now of the stuff that I've made in case you're interested. And by the way, if you like any of the projects you see in the pictures, all you have to do is take the title that you see in the picture and put it into the YouTube search bar, and the tutorial will pop up for the projects that you see in this video. So here's the pictures. Now for this tutorial, I'm going to do a bracelet where we make the components individually and then we stitch them all together into a bracelet. And what I really love about projects like this is the components I'm showing you how to make can be made into other things other than just a bracelet. You can make the components into rings, earrings, pendants, brooches. You can stitch them onto hair barrettes. You can put them on sandals, purses. Whatever ideas you can come up with, you can do with the components that I'm about to show you how to make today. And I think what I'm going to do is try and aim for 3 videos for this project I'm working on. In the past, I did another bracelet similar to this called Art Nouveau bracelet, and I will put a picture up now. And in that project, again, I showed how to make 4 different components and we stitched them all together, and I did 5 videos on that. But each one of those components that I showed you how to make were more time consuming, had more beads involved, and this one here is going to be an easier project. It's not going to take as long. Hopefully, we'll see how it goes. The materials I'm using to make this bracelet are from beadingschool.com by Erika Sandor, and I'm using her bi-monthly subscription, and it is called Beadingschool Academy Box. And I'm using the months of May and June 2022, and the theme I'm using is called Tulip Mania. Now I am using the highest subscription because there's 3 different levels. I'm using the fuchsia level, so this one has everything in it. If you do get the turquoise level, I don't know if you're going to have all the supplies needed to make this project, so I do recommend that if you really want to make this entire bracelet and complete it, that you get the fuchsia level so you're not missing anything in the subscription box. And another option that I'm going to give you guys, because if you're watching this video at a later time and you can no longer get this box, I'm going to link all the materials I'm using individually down there below in the description bar, so you can go and buy them separately. And I really like doing it this way because some of you already have like seed beads on hand and maybe you just need some of the fancier beads, so you can just buy them instead of buying everything. And also another example, if you don't want to make the entire bracelet but you would like to make, for example, the teal flower that I'm making in the bracelet, and you want to make that into a ring, earrings, whatever you want to do, you can just go and buy the petal beads that you need to make that project in the cabochon down there below in the description bar. Here are 3 of the 4 components that I will be showing you how to make, and the 4th one I'm only making one of those, so I will be making that along with you guys. And I just want to show you how awesome these are for rings. This one here is so tiny, it's an 8mm stone, and that would just be an awesome ring. And if you want to make these into rings, I recommend that you add an extra 2 feet of thread for the ring band, alright? So These two components here are pretty much made the same exact way. The only difference is this stone is small, so I'm using less beads, and this one's bigger, so I'm using more beads. But the stitch is pretty much done the same exact way, and I got it to work on these stones here. And I'm thinking if you have stones in your stash, whether they're the same size or in between sizes, so if they're in between these two and maybe bigger than this one, this stitch might work for what you have. And the thing is, when you start out working with this stitch, you start out with the Czech fire polish beads on the back, and you make this ring, and you sit the stone in it, and you just want the stone to sit just right to where the edge is just overlapping this here, and then that way you know that you're ready to do the bezeling with the seed beads and the delicas. So when I get to that ring part, I'll try and remember to tell you guys, you know, what to look for to see if what stones you have in your stash will work for this stitch. So anyways, I'm going to show you guys how to make this one first, and I really don't have to show how to make this one because they are made the same way, but just so nobody gets mad at me, I will show you how to do both. So let's go over the materials you will need to make this little guy right here. You're going to need to cut 2 feet of 8-pound fireline. Doesn't take much at all, and I'm telling you the list of materials, by the way, for one component because you can only make one at a time. If you're going to make 2, you're going to need to cut 2 lengths of 2-foot thread. So 2 foot of 8-pound just to make one, and you're going to need a size 10 beading needle. You're also going to need an 8mm Preciosa chaton, 6 4mm Czech fire polish beads, 11/0 miyuki seed beads, and this is probably the only project where I've only needed 6 11/0s to make something. And you're also going to need 11/0 miyuki delicas and 15/0 miyuki seed beads. So this is the list of materials you will need to make this one component right here. I'm going to have the list down there below in the description bar, and you'll also see the list for this one here. I have my 2 feet of fireline, and I'm going to start by picking up 6 4mm Czech fire polish beads, just like that. Slide them down, and you're going to want to leave a 6-inch tail so you can go back and tie knots. So I'm going to pass back through all of these again. We're just making a circle here like this, okay, and I'm going to measure my tail and get it just right. Always try to leave 6-inch tails. Sometimes I do less, like 5 inches. Just depends on the design and how much I have left on the other side. And I really try not to waste thread when I make these projects, because we need thread. And I hate wasting. Mainframe, no? Once you get your 6-inch tail, tie a surgeon's knot. So I'm going to go over and under. Let me show you what I have there. See, it looks just like that. Over and under, pull that down, and then over and under twice. 1 and 2 times. Bring that down. Pull it tight, and you just want to make sure that these are splayed out in a circle. Okay, I'm going to put that away now, and I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to pass through this bead, because you never want to start picking up beads, add a knot. You always want to pass through a bead first. Okay, I'm going to pick up 2 delicas, 1, 2, and you want to pick up 3 15s and 2 delicas. So just like that, 2 delicas, 3 15s, 2 delicas. You want to go through this Czech fire polish bead here, and because of the angle, I'm not able to pass through the next one, so I just go like that, one at a time, and then I take the needle and I pass through the next bead. Okay? So this will be flipping up, and we're going to pick up this time 2 delicas and 3 15s, just like that. Take your needle, pass through the 2 delicas here, through this bead, the 4mm, pull this down, and push this up because you need it to be tight for your bezel, and you want to take your needle and go through the next bead. You know what? I almost forgot to show you the stone thing to see if what you have at home will work, but I guess I can hold it this way. Okay, so when you make a ring like this, get your stones out and put your stone in it and see from the side view what it looks like. Do you see how my stone, the point of it is recessed in the beads there? That's good for bezeling around. Now if it was sticking up higher, I would want to add more beads in the ring. And if the stone fell through the ring, I would want to take a bead out or maybe some beads. Now I have made this to where I have an even count on the bottom, and that's important for a bracelet because we have to connect them in a straight line. But well, actually that's also important for a ring too, because you're going to have a ring band going across and it's going to be straight. You don't want to have it crooked going like that. So you do want to have an even amount of beads for your base. But go ahead and try this with different sizes of chatons and rivolis and maybe even cabochons to see if you can get the same bezel to work for you. And a while back there was a ring design that I made, and I showed that you can use different sizes of stones, I think, and maybe even different shapes. I don't know, we'll spend some time. Anyways, I'll put a picture up now if you want to go and check that out. I believe it was an easy project to do. It's been a while back. So moving on, so we just came out of the Czech fire polish beater there, and I'm going to pick up more beads. So 2 delicas and 3 15s, and just like before, go through the 2 delicas and through this bead here that you're coming out of. Okay, so like that, and pull this tight. You want to make sure you pull it tight because I had issues with thread being exposed here, and it was just because it was laying kind of flat and it wasn't standing straight up and it wasn't tight enough. So you want this to stand straight up. Okay, and then you want to pick up 2 delicas, they're 11/0 delicas, and 3 15s like this. Go down through these 2 delicas here. I apologize for the noisy bird. Oops, I forgot to do something. I was distracted by the bird. I'm coming out here, right? I have to step up and go through this bead like that, and then 2 delicas, 3 15s like this, and then go down these 2 delicas and then through this bead. Okay, so it pretty much looks the same all the way around. Again, you just want to make sure that it's tight for you. I have to reposition my needle again, so I'm going to go through the next bead and pick up the same beads again. 2 delicas, 3 15s like this. Go down through these 2 delicas, and does that look weird? Oh, I see. Go down through these 2 delicas and through that bead there. Okay, see how our bezel is working up? It is so teeny tiny. You know what? There were these big Monties that came in this box, and I wanted to see if I could bezel them instead of stitching them on in this setting, and I totally forgot to do it. And this one here, the chaton that I'm using for this setting, this chaton also fits in this flower, so that's another option you have. You can use the pearl, 8mm pearl cabochon, or you can use the 8mm chatons for that. So how awesome is that? They both work. Okay, so this is what I have right now. I'm going to step up through this bead, and since we're at the close, I have to go up through these 2 delicas. Okay, so I'm not picking up any delicas here, and I have to pick up 3 11-ohs like this, 3 beads. I'm going to go down these 2 delicas. Okay, through this Czech fire polish, pull that tight. So we have this, and I guess I'll put my stone in now, or do I do the other ones? I don't remember. Let me see. So see, I'm just gonna push it in here, lift those up. Sometimes it helps if you sit it down and push it in with your nail. It's actually best. And we have that. Okay, pull this thread tight. Pull it very tight. Be careful not to drop your stone because you can break it. I did that once with a Swarovski rivoli that I was using in a tutorial. It was the only one that I had too. So that screwed me up. So I have this. See these little gaps right here above the delicas? We're going to fill those gaps in with the 11-oh seed beads, and it looks really cool. I'm coming out of this 4mm Czech fire polish bead, and I need to go up through the 2 delicas, turn and go through these 3 15s. Before I do, I'll pull this tight again because I'm really paranoid about it loosening up, and it does look a little loose right here, but I think it's going to be okay. Right, I just want that to stay flat for me. You see, it does want to come out still because we don't have those 11-ohs in. So get that back in there. Okay, hold your stone in place, pick up an 11-oh and go through these 3 15s. Hold your stone down, don't let it pop out. We're just putting the 11-oh seed bead above the delica in between the 3 15s. Okay, like this, and you want to do this all the way around. Again, these 3 here. Pull it tight. One more. I'm at the close. I'm going through these 3. Okay, and if you feel friction, it's because your needle's twisted around the thread. So you want to take it out and pass it back through. That happens all the time. Something that I always have to be aware of, so I don't have warping. Now I'm going to take my needle and go up through this 11. Okay. Now this looks pretty and neat just like this, but I don't trust this to keep our stone in, so I'm adding another row of 15s, and I'm going to do 2 15s at a time, and I'm going to do them in between the 11-ohs. So pick up 2 15s and pass to the next 11 and do this little step all the way around. Is this the smallest thing I've ever beaded on video? It just seems so tiny to me. 2 15s again in between these 2 11s. Pull it tight. Stop, pull it very tight. That's what I have so far. Keep going all the way around. Oh, and remember what I said, if you do want to make this into a ring, just add an extra 2 feet of thread. That should get you a ring band. And I think the ring band that I did in that ring that I was talking about earlier would be just fine for these 3 components here. Okay, I'm at the close. I do think this looks better with the top closed up than it did with just that one row. I like it with a double row. So I'm going through this 11-0 here, and it's now closing up the top, and then I have to step down and go through 3 15s. Yeah, I just want to make sure. Yeah, I felt friction, and now it's so easy to go through because I lift them up. I use my needle as a tool more than anything. I use my needle all the time to pick beads up, to lift them up, pry them up, so I can go through them easier. So that's what it looks like so far. Now we're going to work on the side. If you don't want to, you don't have to fill these side holes, but I just feel like it's empty and it's needing something. I'll show you the difference real quick. Okay, my camera's not focusing. See the sides there? I just like them filled in. I think it looks better. So this part here is a little strange how I do it. I'm going to take the needle and go down through one, not both, just one delica. Okay, I'm coming down through one delica. I'm going to pick up one delica, a 15, and one delica. Like this. You can go left or right, doesn't matter. I'm going to go this way. I'm going to go up the next delica, so see how I use my needle as a tool to lift this bead up so I can pass my needle through it. Now again, I feel friction on this one, so I'm probably twisting, and there it goes, it feels better now. Also, going through an angle always helps. So there's one side. I have to reposition my needle now, so I have to go through these 3 15s here, and then down through one delica. Go through at an angle. We're going to do it again. Pick up the same beads. Now, we did this part, we had to go up through here, right? So we're actually skipping this, but we're going to come back around to it. So I have to go up through this one now. Okay, so see what I mean? We did that side, we skipped one, we did this side. We're going to reposition the needle again by going through these 3 15s. And then down through this one delica. Okay, so now we're here. And I'm going to pick up a delica, a 15, and a delica. And then I'm going to go up through this one here. Okay, so we fill that hole in. And if you want, it's not so bad on this one. The other one I had to fidget a lot. You can push in these seed beads because sometimes they stick out. The delicas mostly, they stick out. So looking from above, we have 3 spots that are done and we have 3 empty holes. So I have to reposition my needle again to do the rest, the last 3. Go down. Just through the one delica. Okay. Now remember earlier I went that way, so this time I'm gonna go in reverse this way to fill in the other holes. So a delica, a 15, and a delica. I'm coming out here. I'm gonna go in reverse like I said, so I'm gonna go through this one now. Okay, push those in, and then that means that I have to go this way to reposition my needle. Down through this delica. Pick up the same beads again. Like this. Go up through this delica and this. No, it's not my last one. I have one more after this. So just like this. Okay, so now I have 5 done. So those are sticking out a little bit. I'm gonna go through these 15s now, repositioning my needle again. Oops, I accidentally went down both, so I'm just gonna go back up for that one. And then pick up same beads again. Okay, this is my last hole. Push those down. I like to push the delicas down and have the 15 sticking out. And then I'm gonna go up through this delica. Okay, now all of them are filled in, and now we just have to tie knots. So what I like to do is tie knots in the same thread path that I already have. So coming out of this delica, I'm going to go through these 3 seed beads, 15s. And I don't really like tying knots in the 15s. If I have to, I will. But when I make a loop, I only go through it 1 time instead of twice like I usually do. So I'm going to go down through here. Okay. Go through these 2 beads. Like this. Stop and make sure that's tight. I'm going to go underneath right here, grab this thread, make a loop, and pass through this loop twice because we are tying a knot in front of the delica. Go like that, slide it down, okay, and then go through this delica, and the knot will hide inside of there, and then go back up through this bead. Okay, and then go through these 3 here. Go back down, because I'm just trying to reposition myself so I can tie knots. Go through these 2 here. And tie another knot here, and I just keep doing that. Now right now I think what I'm actually going to do is stop and take my needle off of this one, put it onto this one, and I'm going to sew this other tail up these 2 delicas, and then I'm going to go through these 3 15s and then tie a knot right in front of the 11-0 by grabbing that thread that's between, oh boy, am I going to have to do it to show you? I probably should. Now I'm stopping here because I think if I went any further that I might block my holes up with my first thread. So I'm going to stop the first one and go to this one so I don't screw up tying knots for this one. Okay, so we got that on. So this is what I'm talking about. Go straight up. See my knots right there, go through those beads there, okay, and then go through these 3 15s, And then up through this 11, you know what, I think I will tie knots in the very top center, and that's probably what I did do the first time because it was easier to grab the thread up. So again, I have to go straight because I can't tie knots in the 15s. Okay, and then I'm right here coming out of the 15th, so I'm going to tie a knot in front of the 11. So I just go underneath right here, make sure that my loop is going this way, pass through the loop, get it straight in line out. Okay, pass through it a second time. Actually, I've only gone through it once because of how it's not twisting properly. So I'll go through it again. Okay, there's my second twist. It took that time. And then pull that knot down, and then go into the 11. And it's good that I'm doing this because I actually did not reinforce the top a second time. And I think I do the same thing with the other one. So again, go through these two again. The other big one is what I'm talking about. And tie another knot here and pull the knot into the 11-0. And I just go all the way around till I get back to where I started, and then if I can, I'll step down through another row, I'll go through a few beads, and I'll cut the thread off. So I will go back to this one over here, and I will continue on where I left off, following the same thread path, tying knots, and reinforcing this and making it a very strong piece. Alright, so that's how you do the small one. And if you're making the bracelet or pair of earrings, you will need to make 2 of these, okay? So I'm going to finish this off, and then I'm going to show you how to make the bigger one, which is pretty much the same thing. It's just bigger. Here is the list of materials you will need to bezel this 14mm rivoli. And again, I'm only making 1 of these at a time, so if you want to make a pair of them, you will need to double your materials. So to make 1 of these, you will need to cut 32 inches of 8-pound fireline. You're also going to need a size 10 beading needle. You'll need a 14mm rivoli, 10 4mm Czech fire polish beads, and 11 miyuki seed beads, and 11 miyuki delicas, and 15 miyuki seed beads. So this is the list of materials you will need to make this rivoli here. So this one here really is made just like this one. We're just doing more beads to accommodate the bigger stone. But I think it would be neat for you guys to see how I can pretty much make the same thing, just a different size. So I'm going to pick up 10 4mm Czech fire polish beads. In this one we did 6, but 10 is the amount that we need to bezel this one here. Okay, so there's my 10 beads. Slide them down, pass your needle back through all of them, making a circle just like we did before, and I will leave a 6-inch tail. Okay, so I go like that, and then I go to my ruler here, and I just want to find, right here is my mark, so I'm going to hold here and slide these down to my mark. Okay. Okay, once you get your 6-inch tail, tie your surgeon's knot, so over and under once, and then over and under twice, once, twice. Bring it down, make sure it falls in the right spot. Make sure this is shaped like a circle. Okay, and what was I going to say? I forgot. Oh, I'll show you. This isn't what I wanted to say, but I just want to show you. Like I said earlier, if you're trying to bezel the stones you have at home, and they're different size, see how I put that on there? And see how it's just like overlapping the edge there? See how you could see the outer area? That is perfect for bezeling. Whenever I bezel, I try to do this. I string up my beads in a circle. You don't have to tie them in a knot, but if you just pick them up in a circle and you crisscross through the last bead just to see if it would fit, because you don't want to waste your thread tying knots all the time, and then cutting it up. See how you could just see those beads? That's perfect for bezeling. And if you put this on and you can't see the beads, that means it's too small and you add another bead. And if it's still too small, add another bead. And if this goes through your circle, through your ring, then you have to take out beads. Right? Okay, so I have that. Taking my needle, I'm going to pass through the first bead and I'm going right. So I'm going to go through this bead here. Oh, I remember what I want to say. I will be fast forwarding through this because I'm repeating the same thing. It's repetitive over and over, and I really did just show you how to make this but with the smaller stone. So going through there, I'm going to pick up the same beads again. 2 delicas and 3 15s and 2 delicas. Now, the delicas are for our side walls, right? These two here. And this works for the height of our stone. But let's say you're wanting to bezel something that's taller than a rivoli, taller than a chaton. Maybe it's bigger than the stones I'm working with, or maybe you're doing like a tall cabochon, because I've noticed that not all cabochons have the same height, especially gemstone ones. And then the glass, the Czech glass cabochons, they are shorter than the acrylic ones. The acrylic cabs I have are really tall. So to adjust your height, if you are working with a stone that's taller, pick up 3 delicas, 3 15s, and then 3 delicas. You know what I'm saying? Because right here, that's what's giving us the height. Now, if you have a pocket, after you do that, right here, you could see through there, and this is wiggling, it's too big, and you have to go back down in size. But if you need it even taller, you can do 4 delicas, and then 3 15s and 4 delicas. You know what I'm saying? To accommodate the height of your stone. So that's just a little designing tip that I have for you. Okay, so picking up those beads again, just like I did when I first made the other one, I'm going to go through this bead, and because this is a bigger circle, I can pass through 2 of these at one time instead of only going through 1 at a time. So pass through there, and then my tail wants to get caught, so I'm just going to pull that out. Flip it up, pick up 2 15s and 2 delicas and 3 15s. I'm choking, I'm low on saliva. Go through these 15s here, and then through this 4mm, and then through the next one, like this. Pull through, flip these up now. See that little loose thread there? That's because we have to flip it up. So once you get that flipped up, okay, and you pull it tight, that thread disappears. So I'm going to do this all the way around. And I'll do it a couple more times with you guys, and then I'll fast forward. So 2 delicas again for the sidewalls, and then 3 15s for the top. Go through these 2 delicas that we did in the last row here, and then through this 4mm, and through the next. Pull this through. See that loose thread? It's because you gotta stand it up. Stand it up and pull it tight. It has to lay on top. Okay, like that. Again, 2 delicas, 3 15s. Go through these 2 delicas, through these 2 Czech fire polish, and come out here. Okay, so pretty simple. I'm going to repeat this all the way around, and I will come back to you and close it up together. Okay, so that's what I have so far. So keep going, doing this all the way around. Make sure you pull it tight and lift those beads up. So here I am I'm going through those two there, putting those on top, flipping them up, pulling it tight, and now we're at the close. I want my tail to be on the back side. I'm going to pass up through these two delicas, just like we did before. Pick up 3 15s. Go down through these two delicas to close the top. Go through this 4mm Czech fire polish bead, okay, then I'll go up through these. Wait, I gotta pull that tight, it's getting loose. Okay, that's tight. And then I'm gonna go up through these two delicas, and then I'm just gonna turn right through the 15s. But before I do, let's pop in our stone. Make sure you can see what I'm doing. Just gonna use my needle to pry those beads up there. See that? So it pops right in. And then that's my tail, and it's getting caught right here, so I'm just gonna use my needle as a tool to bring that through. Okay, and right here it's getting loose, and that's where we just added beads, so that makes sense. So I just need to pull this tight. It's getting loose because I pushed it open. So pulling this tight, and again, be careful you don't drop your stone. Like that. Take the needle and pass through these 3 delicas. And now we're going to pull it tight again. Whoa, scary. I'm so scared I'm going to break it. Pick up a 11 and go through the next 3 15s, just like we did on the other one. We're just putting 11-Os on top of the delicas, and there's going to be 10. So we'll do it 10 times. Another one, pick up these, go through here. Another, pick up 3. Hold your stone down. I've now made it all the way around, and I'm putting my last 11-O in right here. And while I'm at it, I want to come out through this 11, through there, pull that tight, and we now have this. And again, this area is too big to leave it like this. The stone will fall out. And so I'm going to add another row on the inside, and I'm going to do 2 15s at a time in between the 11-Os. Just like this. And I'm going to do this all the way around. So I'll do it a few times with you guys, and then I'll fast forward. Pick up 2 15s and go in between the 11-Os. So it looks like this. 2 again. So keep going, doing this all the way around, 2 at a time. Alright, I'm now at the close, so I'm going to go through this 11. Okay, I'm not reinforcing this because I'm going to be tying knots up here just like I did in the other one. So I just put in those 2 15s, went through this 11. I'm going to creep on down through these, or should I say slither since we're a thread, through those 3 there, and I'm feeling some friction. Oh, there we go. Okay. Pull that tight, and then sew down through one delica. Okay, so that's what that looks like so far, and I'm going to fill in the gaps on this again. So to do that, oh, see how my some of my delicas are crooked? I'm just going to go around and straighten them. I didn't have to do this on the, where's my awl? I'll use this. I didn't have to do this on the smaller one, but on this one here, some of them are crooked, so I'm just straightening those out. Okay. Coming out of the top delica there, I'm going to pick up a delica, a 15, and a delica. And then I'm going to sew up through this next one. Pop that in place. Reposition my needle by going through these 3 15s. And then down through this delica. Oops. Okay. And see how those stick out? I said how that happens. So you have to push those in. Use your needle as a tool. Pull out the 15 and then pop the delicas in. And see how it's a little tiny point? Okay. Now I'm over here. And remember, we always skip a gap there. We have to in order for this to work. Pick up a delica, 15 delica. Go up through the next 15, making sure that's sitting right. Reposition the needle by going through 3 15s. Again, I feel friction, so I'm going to pull it out and pass back through again. So if you feel friction, you're either passing your needle through your thread, which doesn't happen to me often with fireline, or your needle is twisted around your thread because your seed beads are not lined up. They're angled and like this. So when you pass through, your needle will twist around your thread and you can feel the tightness. I'm going to go through the next one. You can see I've done 2 areas there. And I'm going to do this all the way around. So again, a delica, a 15, a delica. And because we did 6 did my camera fall? Oh, I'm pushing my board back. Because we did 6 Czech fire polish beads on the bottom of this, and we had 3 that we completed when we went around, we had to go in reverse and fill 3 in. This one we're doing 10. So we're going to have 5 that's filled in, and when we finish that row, we have to go back and fill the other half, the empty 5 holes. So there's my beads. I'm going to go up through the next delica and then reposition the needle. And then I gotta straighten this little guy out through this one delica. Straighten those beads out there. Pull it tight. 2 delicas, or a delica, a 15, and a delica, and then up through here. I just want to make sure that center one's sticking out there. And this one's going crooked again, I mean. There we go. Reposition the needle by going through these 3. And then going down 1 delica. Okay. Pick up a delica, a 15, and a delica. Here I am. I'm going to go up through 1 delica. Okay, those went in place perfectly. Now see, we have a gap, and there's where we started. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we have 5 empty holes. So I just have to take my needle and go through here to reposition Okay. Go down 1 delica. I'm now repositioned and I'm going to go in reverse. So I'm going to go this way now. Pick up a delica of 15 and a delica and sew up through this delica here, like that. Okay, so see that's filled in. And then reposition the needle by going through these 3 15s. Go down through this delica. Pick up your beads again. And then up through this one here. So I'm going to continue this. Hopefully you understand it. Pop those in. So see how that's filled up over there now? It's looking good. I have to reposition my needle, fill the next hole. So I'm going to keep going doing this and I will come back and show you how to finish it off. Made it full circle and I have to go up through, I put my beads on and I have to go up through this delica and that one there is sticking, or not sticking out but going inward, so I'm going to pull it out with my needle there just like that. So I've now completely gone all the way around and I'm going to take my needle and pass through these 15s on this side. Okay. Go down through 1 delica. Alright, and there we go. Now I'm going to tie my knots, but I'm going to do it the same exact way that I did in the little one, and I'm not going to show you how to do that because I already showed you how. So I'm just going to talk to you a little bit here about it. So coming out of this bead, and you remember what we did on the smaller one? We went through these 2, the delica here and the 15, and we tied a knot, right? And then we went up through this delica, through those 3, came down, went through those 2, tied a knot. We just followed our previous thread paths and we were tying knots in front of the delicas where we could hide them, okay? And then once you're done with this, go to this thread here, put your needle on it, go up through those 2 delicas, go left or right depending on which hole is clearer through to you, which one you can get through easier. So either right through those 3 15s or left through those 3 15s, and then go through the 11-0 seed bead and then through the 2 15-0 seed beads and tie a knot in front of this 11-0. And then go through those 2 15s and tie a knot in front of that 11. Through those 2 15s, tie a knot in front of that 11. And I go as far as I can, as far as my tail will take me, and I like to go all the way around if possible because we did not reinforce the top of this. We always usually go through it at least twice, but with this one we didn't. But we do have 2 rows that are keeping it in there. But yeah, it's just a way to tie more knots, reinforce, make it strong, and the more you go through it, the tighter it is around and you won't have weak spots. So I like to use up my thread as much as I can and then trim off the short little tails if I can't go any further, and that's it. So this is going to be part 1 of my bracelet tutorial. I showed you guys how to do both of these. Now I'm going to film part 2, and in part 2 I'm going to show you how to make this flower, which is very easy and quick to do, and then I'll show you how to make the center flower, which is much bigger, and even though it looks very intimidating, it's not bad at all. It does work up a lot faster than you think it would. And then I think I'm going to do a part 3 showing you how to put all 3 of these together, alright? So I will be back. Look out for part 2. This is it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please like this video, leave me a comment, subscribe if you want to see more of my videos, and make sure you click the bell button so that you get notified whenever I upload new videos, and follow me on my social media sites. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and Twitter. Thanks for watching.